Brisbane, and today I'm going to be telling you all about the basic features of snorkels for scuba diving. Now, it might seem like the easiest thing that you're going to make your decision on when you're coming in to get all your gear for diving, but we have a huge range here of snorkels at ADRENO to choose from, and most people always ask us, where do I start? First things that I want to talk about is what exactly do you use a snorkel for as a diver? And essentially it's to conserve air when you're on the surface before you go down. So you're conserving the air in your tank before you actually go down into the water. Really good if you're dropped off on a boat, not actually on your dive site, and you're swimming off to the buoy that marks the beginning of your dive, or even if the weather's a bit choppy and you put your snorkel in your mouth, it will just stop any splashing going into your face. What to look for in snorkels? One of the first things that is important is comfort. So if you're quite a small, petite little girl, then you don't want to have a snorkel with a mouthpiece that's really wide. You want something that's quite small and something that isn't going to be sore in your mouth and forcing your mouth wide apart. Not very nice. The next thing that you're going to be thinking about is if you pick up a snorkel like this, this is not a diving snorkel. You are more than welcome to use it for diving, but I wouldn't recommend it. One of the main reasons is because it's going to keep hitting you in the chin when it's not in your mouth. What you want to do is get one like this. So as you can see, you've got this section here which is flexible, so when it's not in your mouth, it drops out of the way, nice and easy. The next thing that you need to think about is whether you get a purge valve or not. Now, snorkels have come in a long way in the last probably 50 or 60 years, and pretty much all of them come as standard now with a purge valve, which is basically on the bottom. It means that if you have water in your snorkel, all you have to do is go boom, and instead of having to blow water all the way up to the end of your snorkel, it all just comes out of the bottom. Now, they all come in very different designs, but they're essentially doing exactly the same thing. The next thing you're going to think about is the sump. So this bit here is lower than the tube for your mouth. So basically, if you have a little bit of water in this snorkel, you're still going to be able to breathe perfectly normally because the water is going to sit down here. It's not going to start cutting off your air supply. The next thing is how it attaches to your mask. Same thing, there's hundreds of different variations, but you want something that's relatively sturdy, that's going to survive, because this is the first thing that's going to break, and it's the most annoying thing to break because it means that you're going to have to swim for the rest of the time with your snorkel like this, because otherwise it's going to fall forward into the water. If you're going on a long trip, I highly recommend getting some snorkel keepers. They're only about $3. They're just a bit of silicone, basically, and it just slips over. Really, really handy piece of kit, definitely. Next thing that a lot of snorkels have nowadays are this stay dry feature, which basically means that if you're snorkeling somewhere where it's a bit choppy, any water that gets that hits on the surface is not actually going to go down inside your snorkel. Only problem with this from a scuba diving point of view is when you go down under the water, it's going to trap some air in your snorkel and it's going to want to go up to the surface. For me, that would be way too annoying, so I'd steer clear of the stay dry ones for diving. Last thing to think about is colour. The fish really, really, really care what colour your gear is, so bear in mind that you have to be colour coordinated and not clash. Very, very important. Anyway, that's how to choose a snorkel. Giving you a few of the basic tips. I'm Becky. If you do have any problems at all, any questions, just come in to see one of us at outlets in either Brisbane, Sydney or Melbourne, or go online to scubadiving.com.au.